Hello, I'm Ricky Rudd, driver of the Motorcraft Air Force Taurus. I'd just like to take a short minute just to thank all the men and women over there that's supporting us in Iraq and putting your lives on the line. It's well appreciated. Thank you.
Welcome back to the Great American Race here in Texas, the Samsung Radioshack 500. As Fox, glad to have you with us live, and the fans cheering on. Ricky Rudd on the Ford Motorcraft of the 21 cars, sponsorship with the Air Force. As you get a look, he has moved from 21st to 9th in Winston Cup points in the last couple of races. His best finish here in Texas is 4th. And as you see nearby, the Air Force support.
Yes, so you see right there, that's a display just outside the racetrack right there, United States Air Force right now. And one of the things I'm seeing here is that you're looking at Sterling Marlin, who hit the wall earlier whenever Steve Park spun out, being lapped right there by leader Elliott Sadler right now.
It's been the Elliott show of Bill Elliott, who led for 43 laps, but then had engine problems. And out of the picture, out of the race, Elliott Sadler has taken over and is currently leading, followed by Ryan Newman and Jeff Gordon.
Tony Stewart just made a move, picked up a spot on Robbie Gordon, 14th place, as Sadler goes to put Brett Bodine a lap down. While we're on Bodine, the 10th anniversary of the loss of Alan Kulwicki will be celebrated with a candlelight vigil in his hometown of Greenfield, Wisconsin, tomorrow evening. Details at frontstretch.com. And the car in which Alan won the Winston Cup, the Underbird, is now at the North Carolina Motorsports Hall of Fame. Details on its restoration at Underbird.com. Alan was a great champion, and he is still greatly missed by the NASCAR community and its fans. 75 laps complete. Elliott Sadler, one of only 2 leaders of this race. The other, Bill Elliott, whose car is now in the garage, the only retiree from the race thus far. Sadler's lead just about 1 second over the Dodge of Ryan Newman and Jeff Gordon's Chevy. There they are.
We saw Jeff Gordon.
12 in, yes.
We saw Jeff Gordon yesterday run a pretty long run. I think he ran about 20-25 laps, and he said his car wasn't very good on the start, but it was really good on the long run.
You're right. He ran a 22-lap run. The quickest lap of that run was lap 20, 2 laps from the end. That says a lot, obviously, for the tire that goes with this racetrack as well.
And that's kind of paying off for him right now.
Darrell, you and I, we've been watching this battle for 5th with Rusty Wallace in the 2, Jimmy Johnson in the 48. And it's like Jimmy's better through the middle of the corner than Rusty, but Jimmy just can't get off the corners good, and it hurts him down that straightaway. I think Matt Yoakum has a little bit of information for us.
Well, Larry Mack, this morning at 8 o'clock, Chad Canales told me the goal for the 48 team today was just a solid top 10 finish, coming off an 8th last week, their first top 10 since Rockingham. But now they've had to reevaluate that, knowing how good this race car is. But Jimmy starting to get a little impatient, starting to get a little frustrated with Rusty Wallace. In fact, he said at one point, I'm done with him. I am never, ever going to give him a break and let him get a lap back. He is holding me up. I am much faster, especially through the corner. Chad Canal says, look, do not get caught up in his games. You stick to your game plan. We will be just fine, DW, but you can certainly hear the frustration starting to come through on the radio.
Well, that's what happens to you, Matt. I mean, obviously the 48 car is faster, but Rusty Wallace, being the old veteran that he is, he said, look, kid, I'm not going to pull over for you. If you can drive around me, I'll let you, but I'm not going to pull over for you. And there he goes. But the guy, the young driver like Jimmy, he cannot understand for the life of him why at this point in the race, Rusty would race him as hard as he is. Why don't you let me go and you follow me?
And their engine failure from yesterday's practice, I talked to that group this morning. The engine guys actually weld on the lobes of the camshaft to get the duration of the cam that they want, the lobes on the cam, and the cam actually came apart in that engine.
He's gaining fractionally on race leader Elliott Sadler. No, now losing a bit of time to the race leader.
But I think he will. I mean, he's definitely pulling away from Rusty. There's traffic up ahead. There's Sterling Marlin. So I think we'll see Jimmy Johnson start to reel in the leader because he's pretty fast.
Sadler laps past Larry Foyt, the number 14. Foyt had one of the neatest promotions I've seen in a long time here in Texas. He was delivering Meals on Wheels this week to elderly shut-ins with his Winston Cup car. That was pretty cool, going down the Dallas streets and show up in this lady's driveway and climb out the window and bring her lunch. Pretty surprised, as you might imagine.
Yeah, looking out the window saying, honey, you're not going to believe what pulled up in front of the house.
Right.
I think that's something Larry does year-round, is work with the Meals on Wheels program. Does a lot for him.
There are the intervals. Sadler to Gordon to Newman.
And right now, looking at the lap times the last couple of laps, they've been in clear traffic. Jeff Gordon is the quickest car in the 24.
Jeff Green, 9th place, 10 seconds off the lead. But in a solid position. He's about a second ahead of Jerry Nadeau in 10th. Steve?
And Mike, it's been a frustrating season for Jeff Green in that 30 car. His best finish at 19th at Darlington. Crew Chief Mike Beam said he met with various team members until after midnight last night. He got up at 3 o'clock this morning to go over his notes. He made major changes to the front end geometry, A-frame, shock, springs. They've been fighting balance issues all year long. He feels like they may have it figured out a little bit here in Texas.
Green is 9th. His teammates are 15th and 18th right now. Just behind Jeff Green, a change at 10th place. Mark Martin on the move.
And I'm going to tell you, after talking to Ben Leslie, his crew chief, I talked about this earlier, they've been fighting loose end. They have come a long way with that race car, Darrell, because talking to Ben this morning, they had no idea they was even going to be close. He said, we're going to be lucky if we don't get lapped in 30 laps after starting back in 32nd, and now he's up there in the top 10.
Well, with Mark Martin, I would never say never, because he knows his car, he knows what he wants in the car, and I tell you, if you just work with that guy, give him anything near what he wants, he'll get you to the front.
Mark Martin making some small inroads into Elliott Sadler's lead. It's Ford, Chevy, Dodge, Ford, Chevy in the front 5. 85 laps into the Samsung Radioshack 500.